Hi, everyone. This is part two of removing negative energy, or the how to of removing negative energy.
Okay.
And in this part, we're just going to go a little bit more into the backstory. You
Well,
know,
and the backstory is really important for the simple fact of we get quite often, how does this work? How do I understand this?
yes.
And what we did is we used our own personal experiences in life to see what wasn't working.
Well, that plus, and this is the most important part, and I like to say this a lot.
Okay.
There are a lot of people out there who talk about energy not from a perspective of being able to see it,
Right.
but from a perspective of what they were taught. And we see
Well,
so many times that what you're taught isn't correct.
actually, that was our first encounter with each other in understanding that the other one knew something about energy that we personally didn't know.
That didn't make any sense. You tried to be too diplomatic with that. You better
Okay,
say
oh,
that.
me be diplomatic. Oh my gosh, things must be working. What I'm talking about is that I made a statement to Jason, he made a statement to me, and we disagreed with one another.
It was about what to do with negative energy.
What to do with negative
We've heard that
energy.
you put it into the ground, you put it in the center of the earth, you put it to the ends of the universe.
Yes.
Well, I don't know where either one of those places are, but I know energy is a thing. And
Energy is a
if
thing.
we got enough people throwing it to wherever that place is, it's like landfill. You don't. It's eventually it's going to explode and overrun.
And not only and I'm going to simplify it. Eventually, that toxic energy is going to come back and bite you.
So we created the processor.
Right.
Now, this is what it looks like. You've
Yes.
probably heard us talking about it before. The processor is a thing.
Yes.
It exists in your imagination in the non-physical dimension, and it literally takes negative energy in the top.
Yes,
It takes it down through
down through,
and
then
processes it.
in what I call the radiator part,
It's and it comes out neutral.
and it comes out neutral in the front.
So, it's sort of like a water treatment plant. The sewer water goes in, it gets treated,
Yes,
and then it comes out, so it's drinkable again. It's
Yes.
neutral.
exactly.
So it comes in bad, comes out good.
Exactly.
And frankly, that makes so much more sense
And we're not doing enough of it.
than everybody putting their negative energy at the center of the earth. That doesn't sound good to me.
Well, frankly, I'm not going to put my plants in the ground for my summer season
Your
of
garden,
growing
yeah.
in my garden. I'm not doing that.
So that's why we process it. It makes so much more sense. Now the processor is really kind of special. I say this all the time, and people don't understand what I mean, but I get it. If you were all of a sudden taken out of your house, thrown into a prison,
Yes.
I think of a Turkish prison, but these
Right,
days
sure.
it'd probably be a Russian prison. Anyways, whatever it is, and you didn't have anything, not even the clothes on your back,
But you still have the processor.
the processor
and
and the ability to clear
that is
negative
correct.
energy.
That is absolutely correct. And believe it or not, some people, they might not be in a Russian prison at the moment. They're probably just living in their own home or maybe somebody else's home. But the bottom line is that there's toxic energy everywhere. It's nothing is
In our
void
world
of
today,
that.
yes.
Yes.
And we're doing this. This is 2022. We're doing this. We're doing this, the ecosystem approach, based on what we see today.
Correct.
In 2022.
And our experiences in life from the past, especially since we started doing the removing of negative energy more than 20 years ago.
And so we don't have this scripted, so this is kind of free form. But one of my biggest pet peeves is people say, well, this ancient master who lived 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago said blah, blah, blah. Well, it's
That's nice.
it's nice, but that's not the same world we have today.
Not at all.
We don't know who that ancient master was.
Right.
I guarantee you there are a lot of quote unquote ancient masters
Yes, there are.
who were frauds.
Oh, well, and we know that those who claim to be great might not be. I'll be very nice about
This
it.
is 2022. We see it all around us
We do.
today.
We do.
So people who say that they're this, but there's something else. We want we took this and we said, okay, and I started, then I met Patricia, and then we started doing this together, and we got married in some part of that too.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. So, but we started doing this, and it's about, we were validating all those kind of ideas.
I was going to say ideas or trainings
Yes.
from our past.
Because you were trained to put it into the earth, through the negative energy in the earth.
I was trained to
And
do
you were
that.
defending that without really knowing why.
And I have to tell you, I won't defend that today at all, because I know, because of the discussions that he and I have had, that putting it into the earth just creates more toxic. And the bottom line is that we know that right now, this earth that we live on is really, really, really struggling. I don't want to be a part of that struggle anymore. And I don't want to be part of that struggle anymore by holding on to toxic energy in my personal body. That's why we created together the
Processor.
The processor.
So here's the other thing. The clearing, what we call the clearing process, it's really removing negative energy.
Correct.
Is like Clark Kent and Superman.
Yes.
And I'm just, this is not scripted, so I'm just pulling this out of the air. She's smiling because she sees I'm just developing this. But the idea is that it looks like Clark Kent. It's just so simple. It's so simple to use.
An everyday guy.
You don't have to, once you have it memorized, which is easy to do, and
it doesn't
most of
take
the people
long.
that do it, it's a part of their memory, and it just becomes part of them. I mean, we clear. I can be talking to someone and clearing.
Me too.
And you can say it out loud. A lot of people like to say it out loud in the beginning, but then after that, you don't have to. I do it to myself.
Well, and I'm just going to give an example. A lot of people, especially in the beginning, they say it out loud because they're trying to get used to it and trying to understand every word and all that sort of thing. But after you start removing more negative energy that we're housing in these bodies, in these vehicles, so to speak, what happens is they want to move, they want to go, they want to get rid of this stuff, and they know, because they've experienced, that it does work. And so saying it out loud slows things down.
Right. It sometimes when we say the clearings at the end of our shows, for example, people say, "Oh, you do it too fast." Well, we kind of do. You don't have to think of it really precisely for every single one. Just let it kind of flow over you.
Yes.
But we have it written out when you have.
And you can always go back to it.
We have it written out in the newsletter.
It's amazing.
But let's go back to Clark Kent and Superman.
Okay.
What I like about what we call the clearing process is that it presents. It's so simple. It's so easy. It's just Clark Kent.
Yes.
Just a regular guy who's in the world. But then it becomes when it becomes Superman is when you start to make it specific. So let me talk, or use it with intangibles. Let me talk about that.
Okay.
Let's say you have a boss that's being inappropriate.
Okay.
Maybe and I'm not talking, it could be sexual, but it could be anything else. Like, let's say he's too close, or
that's a good one.
He's too familiar. He always comes over and touches you, male or female, you just don't feel comfortable being touched,
right?
That sort of thing. You don't know what to say, that sort of thing. What you can do is, this is where the clearing process becomes Superman. You can say, I direct in your own mind, in your own consciousness, I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the anger I have because this jerk is touching me this way.
Yes.
And then upload in the processor.
And by the way, I guarantee you that the person that he was talking about that was being inappropriate will back up.
Well, don't guarantee it. The thing is that people with negative energy, every situation's different.
That's true.
We can't guarantee that, but we've seen it work so many times. And once you start playing with energy and have this, you start using the ecosystem approach,
on a regular basis,
your whole world expands.
Well,
but I want to finish the thing about Superman.
Okay.
Because when you start using intangibles, that's what makes this so powerful. Just the basic clearing process so powerful. And to eliminate my fear of telling my spouse XYZ, or my let's say you've been diagnosed with cancer, you're afraid to die, you don't want to say it out loud.
Right.
You can clear it to yourself. There's a lot of feelings and impressions that we have that we never speak out loud.
Correct.
You can do that with this. Intangibles are amazing, and to eliminate being treated by this person the way I don't like,
Yes.
or being treated by a lot of people in this way that I don't like.
Right.
Those are intangibles.
Well, and another intangible, I'm just going to jump in, is not being appreciated for who you are.
Yes.
That's a really big one. I hear that a lot from people.
All these things we can clear.
Yes.
We can clear these specific things as long as they're we can name them.
Yes.
And so
when you name them, put them in the top of the processor right here. Let it go all the way down that garbage can, then all the way through what I call the radiator, and come out neutral in the front. Remember, you're not only helping you, but you're also getting rid of negative energy, removing negative energy that doesn't work for you anymore, and you're helping the environment around you.
So we don't say the full statement every time. Like when we sit down in the morning, we always have
Right.
coffee together. Or
Right.
not coffee anymore, it's tea and
Yeah.
whatever. So we always start with and to eliminate, because it's presumed. We've been saying that I direct all my resources in all dimensions so many times.
That's correct.
Over the day that our resources know that they're on duty.
On duty. And the other thing is that one of the most important things that we need to remember and understand is that our intentions are to make our lives better. And so when you intend to get rid of negative energy, and you use the processor, and you use the statements that we're talking about, this is one of the most positive things that you can do. Now, there's one more big question. I have so many people say to me, well, it doesn't work when I do it. It works when you do it, Patricia, but it doesn't work when I do it.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is that most of us are trained that we do something and we get an instant result. I want you to think about something that you'd like to get rid of. Think about how long you've had it around. Think about the intensity of it, or the bulk of it, so to speak, and chip away at it. Chip away a little piece at a time, a little piece at a time. You will find that there are changes that do happen.
It feels like it's not working. A lot of times it's because there might be shame and guilt that keeps you from seeing that you can do it, or a powerlessness that says that you can't do it. I agree that when you've been doing this like we have for 20 years, our evolution, what we call evolution, when we start removing that negative energy from your essence, it gives you abilities that you don't have in the beginning.
Correct.
But-
because the negative energy is blocking you.
Right. And the more you clear, the less it is, and the more powerful your clearings are going to be. But keep at it. And if you don't feel it, doesn't mean that it's not working. We know this works whether you feel it or not. It doesn't matter whether you believe it.
Correct.
It doesn't matter whether you have enough faith. It doesn't matter if you're doing it in a certain way.
Right.
It works whether you believe it or not. A lot of people, we've heard that other places, that if it doesn't work, you don't have enough faith, you don't have enough intensity, you don't have, blah, blah, blah. This works no matter what. And we know it does. But if you don't feel it right away, it doesn't. That's not necessarily that means that there's something wrong.
Right. Well, there's one more major question that people ask a lot, and it's, what if I keep missing the processor in my imagination, meaning throwing negative energy into the processor? Jason, can you answer that?
Again, this is in our imagination anyways. The processor is in our imagination, so we can open up the top part there.
Make it bigger?
Make it bigger.
Yes. Make it taller, make it shorter?
Or clear the blocks that are keeping me from getting the negative energy into the processor.
Right. And one...
because it is a negative energy. That's why
That's
stuff.
exactly right.
We've had so many, people might say, strange questions about that.
Yes,
And it's just negative energy that's just fussing with you.
Yes,
I guarantee
exactly.
you. It doesn't want to go in the processor.
Right.
Negative energy doesn't want to go there. It wants to stay and remain where it is.
Yes.
And so the last part, I think, and this is just for a minute, but just keep going. If you get discouraged, if you say, "Oh, this isn't working," and I guarantee you that's going to happen.
Because of negative energy,
Negative
does not
energy
want you to
will
change.
whisper in your ear and
Yes.
say, "Oh, don't do this. Do something else," or
That's
or
correct.
go do over this. Go do this process over here, or this can't be working. Blah blah blah.
Right.
That's how negative energy works, and the way to overcome that
Yes.
is to keep clearing it.
Is to keep removing that negative energy.
So if you get that voice in your head that says this isn't working,
Yes.
clear that voice in your head that says this isn't working.
Right.
It's really that simple. Clear that negative energy that's keeping you stuck, and then reach out to us. We'll help you. We're going to be doing are doing question and answer, live question and answer.
Yes.
And if you can't be with us live, you can always send us an email with a question.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.